Morning guys, it's Shara. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I wanted to share an easy recipe that's a crock pot recipe. It's called Chinese pot roast, and I'm going to walk you through how to put it together. You put it together, it cooks for 8 to 10 hours on low. You don't have to mess with it until time to serve, and then this evening I'll bring you back and show you. All I do is pull together some broccoli and rice for sides, and it's kind of a faux Chinese type meal. We have guests coming tonight, and I know they like this meal, but I also have a lot of errands to run today, so this lets me kind of do both, have the best of both worlds, so to speak. So I'm going to switch you around where you can see what we're doing, and I'll show you the ingredients first, then we'll brown our roast and we'll pop it in. I'll bring you back this evening and show you the finished product. Okay guys, our ingredients are pretty simple. This is a chuck roast and it is 2.8 pounds. Aim for around 3 pounds is what the recipe calls for, but I've used varying sizes with good results. We need ground ginger, black pepper, a tablespoon of oil, and I will write the proportions down below. A half cup of soy sauce. I actually use Bragg's liquid Aminoes, but you can use any kind of soy sauce you want, adjust the saltiness, etc. to suit you. I don't add extra salt to this recipe because this tastes salty to me, but you can certainly add salt if you prefer. Actually, remember this time to take the flour out. I need 2 tablespoons of flour, any kind you like. I'm going to use some cooking spray, and of course you're going to need a crock pot. So we will get started. Let me grab something to set on this counter. In theory, this towel is going to help me make less of a mess. There's some fuzzy on it. We'll see though. I'm going to do this the laziest way I know how, messing up as few dishes. So I'm going to start by simply putting some pepper on my roast. I know I need 2 tablespoons of flour, so I'm going to put 1. Let me move my measuring cup, guys. I'm going to sprinkle 1 all over this side of the roast. This kind of helps when we brown it. It firms your meat up a little bit, but it also helps give your sauce a little bit of thickness as it cooks. I'm going to just kind of rub this in. I'm going to flip this thing over right in the, well, I said I was going to flip this thing over right in the tray. I'm going to flip this over right in the tray. Do our 2nd tablespoon of flour. A little more pepper. And then we're going to take this over to the stove top and brown it lightly. It doesn't take long. So we'll need a tablespoon of oil and a frying pan for that. Okay, our goal with this is just to get our flour browned a little. And I'm just going to pop it in here, and I'm going to dump the last of the flour in with it. Throw this away. And you can hear that sizzle. We just want to brown this good, and we'll pop it in the crock pot next. You see how the flour is just starting to brown up? That's what you're after on both sides, so it doesn't take long. I find this step to be worth it, but if you were in a really big hurry, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you didn't do this. Okay, I'm going to transfer this to my crock pot, and I'll show you guys how to make the sauce. I forgot to show you guys, but I did spray the crock pot liner with a little bit of non-stick cooking spray. Sorry about the tapping. I don't know if it truly makes it easier to clean or not, but I feel like it does. For our sauce, I've poured 1 cup of water in here. I have a ½ cup of the liquid Aminoes. I'm adding ½ teaspoon of ground ginger. And I forgot to mention earlier, in part just because I don't use them, but you can slice and add 1 or 2 medium onions to this. I'm going to use onion powder and put about ½ teaspoon in here. We'll whisk this together real quick. And I'll show you. This is my, can you see that? Let me see. This is better. This is my casserole crock pot, but you can use any shape, any size. I'm just using this one because the roast is flat and thin. If I was using a fat one, I would just do a larger pan. Pour this in. Put your lid on. Cook this for about 10 or 15 minutes on high just to get it heated good, and then you turn it to low and you let it cook for 8 to 10 hours. It will be fall apart tender, and this flavor just melds through it. It's wonderful. So I'll be back later today to show you guys how I finish off the meal. Finishing up this meal is pretty easy. I'm going to put 2 cups of rice in the Instant Pot along with 4 cups of water, and I don't think I have enough water in my thing, but we'll see. This is just plain white long grain rice. I need just a tiny bit more water. Because the broth in the roast is so salty, I am just going to put a little bit of salt in this, and that's all, just a tiny touch for cooking. Lid on. Plug it in. Rice, I'm changing the pressure to high. 12 minutes. Now I will steam this broccoli in the bag, 3 minutes in the bag, and then I'm going to add it along with, I'm going to steam this broccoli in the bag and add it along with a little bit of cornstarch slurry to my crock pot. Hope you guys can see this because I'm kind of creating a shadow here, but this thing is hot. I don't want to try to move it to the island to show you. Our roast is done. It is fall apart tender. See? Nice, pretty. Our sauce has been simmering all day, and I'm going to whisk in, well, stir in, a little bit of cornstarch slurry here. And mix that in just to thicken it up just a little bit. And I have 12 ounces of broccoli that I lightly steamed. I slightly undercook it. I'm going to put it in here around the roast so it'll get the sauce flavor. You could add bell pepper, onions, all of that stuff, or really a bag of stir-fried vegetables is pretty good, but one of my guests is not crazy about cooked carrots, so I'm serving raw carrots and then like carrot sticks and sliced bell pepper that way as for something fresh to go with our meal. So this is it. I'm going to turn this down to warm and let it just keep warm, and we'll have the rice, the beef and broccoli, and of course the fresh veggies, and then a little later we'll have a jelly roll for dessert. So I hope you guys come back tomorrow to see the jelly roll recipe. It's almost time for my guests to be here, so I'm going to finish up that, and we'll see you later. Bye.